Welcome to Wrestling Superstars. I'm Gordon Solie, your host. With me, of course, in a couple of moments will be Jerry Briscoe, and, of course, Barbara Cleary is with me. And, Barbara, your Take 5 this week concerns the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Certainly does. I'll be talking with Ric Flair a little bit about his background, which is really very interesting.
It is indeed, and we'll be seeing Ric Flair in action, too, during that Take 5 segment. Also, Mr. James J. Dillon has issued a special challenge to one Eric Embry, who has caused him, untold problems since Mr. Embry arrived here and Mr. Dillon got here. And we'll be seeing the Golden Boy Chick Donovan in action in an Australian tag team match, Eddie Mansfield and Buzz Sawyer. And, of course, Jerry Briscoe will be watching Bugsy McGraw with a great deal of interest in a special handicap match against two opponents.
Well, that's right, Big Bugsy. You know, Gordon is ready at all times for anybody, and he's asked to take on these two men. And when somebody asks like that, I'm sure he thinks he's capable of handling it.
Absolutely. All of this upcoming here on Wrestling Superstars, so by all means do stay tuned. Right now, let's turn it over to our ring announcer.
This match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing 210 pounds, Dor Roach. His opponent from Ohio, weighing 230 pounds, Gordon Nelson.
Gordon Nelson moving up against Dor Roach, and a fine gesture of sportsmanship there, both men shaking hands, and it is a side headlock by Dor Roach right off the bat. Gordon Nelson trapped in that side headlock now. Dor Roach with the red and blue trunks, Nelson with the red and black trunks, and it's Nelson took that disadvantage to an advantage and forced the takedown on Roach into a hammerlock. And it is Nelson manhandling Roach at this particular point, a good float over. And it is Nelson continuing to dominate the situation here. Roach trying to escape from it, finally does, and let's see if Nelson's able to get away from this position of being on his back.
Well, Gordon Nelson knows that back is no place to be in wrestling, Gordon. Once you're on your back, as young Roach is finding out right here, it's uncomfortable, and you're looking up facing those lights, and you hear a 3 count, and it's all over for you. Both of these men are well versed in basic wrestling. You see Gordon Nelson going for a beautiful single leg takedown, comes right up into a under and over into a Nelson, and he's got Roach right where he doesn't want to be.
Underhooking the arm now as Roach has turned his body and has gotten away from both shoulders being down on that canvas, and will be trying to escape from it. And now Roach, wise move I think on Roach's part here, Jerry. He didn't panic. He didn't all of a sudden waste a lot of energy. He fought it through rather, and then moved.
Well, most of the time, Gordon, you're going to have 2 or 3 moves in your mind. If the first one don't go, you're going to switch to an alternative. If that one don't go, you're usually in trouble by then. Your opponent has reacted to your 2 previous moves, as Gordon Nelson did do. He winged him right over, and Roach is right back on his back again. Nelson has got the heavy part of his body. You see his big chest there on Roach's chest, trying to keep his weight on him, and he's not trying to get to one side or the other where he's sort of afloat and will Roach bridge up and turn just like he's doing right there, Gordon.
Good move on Roach's part, and again, Roach taking his time, not panicking, not utilizing a lot of excess energy that could cost him later on.
Interesting move Gordon Nelson came up with. It's an arm bar, and he's going for those arm bars at all time. And Rhodes comes right back into a single leg, and now he's going for the arm series.
Young Roach, pardon me, go ahead, Joe.
Young Roach is getting a wrestling lesson out there, but Gordon, he's also showing Gordon Nelson he's nobody to take lightly, and he's been really impressive in some of his basic moves that he's had. As you said, he's taken his time. He hadn't panicked. Against a man like Gordon Nelson, you go to panic and you'll find your shoulders down to the mat real quick.
Or in a submission hold, and of course that's what it's all about. Either make your opponent submit or get that fatal 3 count. Hip toss now, and Roach comes to his feet, slowly, studied. He is not rushing the situation. He realizes he's facing a man who has held some very, very impressive titles throughout the past. quick takedown.
A beautiful set through, sort of a whizzer type deal. You set through, you fall right back. Rhodes sort of had his head in position. Gordon Nelson, being the polished wrestler that he is, knew what position he was in and just set through, whizzard him right through. And right there, you see one of Gordon Nelson's best moves. One off to the ropes, 1, 2, 3, and he's got him overhook, and sort of a variation of three-quarter Nelson. Gordon Nelson, your winner.
He was indeed, no question about it. An outstanding match, and once again, both men shaking hands, and a fine victory for Gordon Nelson. No exchange. Collar and elbow once again. Into a top wrist lock. And here's where Parks will hold a slight advantage because of his height. But look at Donovan. Tremendous display of strength here as he tries to force Parks back to the canvas. And it is Parks rising to the occasion and now has Donovan down to one knee, and Parks continues to press that advantage, but Donovan trying to battle his way back up. And a tremendous test of strength and leverage between these two. And again, it is Parks driving Donovan slowly down now to try to utilize that leg. Could not. And it's Donovan finally taking the edge.
Parks was trying to come around, knock the support leg out from under Donovan. Donovan utilizing his strength at his utmost ability there. Gordon was able to power Reggie down when he lost his balance there, trying to knock the support leg out. Got him down, but they're right back up to their feet, and now Parks is in position where he's got the upper hand. It'd be a real battle to test of strength here. I think Parks might have him a little bit on the experience and the ability to have that killer instinct when it comes down to take the man out. Parks might have that, but we'll have to just wait and see.
Back up toward those ring ropes once again, and again, Bill Alfonso, the referee, steps in, calls for the break, and both men very cautious of each other. Alfonso doing a fine job of officiating, stays out of the way of the two contestants, which is a prime consideration. And yet manages to keep constantly on the move. Good shoulder smash by Donovan. Parks that time caught him, and Donovan came down on his shoulder and part of his back, and that may not slow him instantly, but that could slow him up later in the match.
Parks did a beautiful move there, Gordon, that we don't see too often. As he went for that hip toss takeover, he threw that leg up right in the stomach pit of Chick Donovan and knocked the wind out of him. You also see how he fell. It took his balance away from him and threw him off. And you got to be up awful early in the morning to get ahead of Reggie Parks.
That is a natural-born fact. No question about it. Parks now winged into a bottom wrist lock now. He could go for a lateral drop. Donovan was aware of that fact, of what could happen to him, and bowled him back to the ropes very quickly, forces a break, caught him with an elbow on the break. And so Donovan, realizing the problems that he has and might have a shortfall or two, has decided now to try and take every advantage possible. Uses the back of the elbow very effectively once again. Parks brought up, full body slam by Chick Donovan. Donovan crashes down across his chest. And Donovan seemed a little bit offhanded that time, Jerry, and that's the wrong way to go after Reggie Parks.
I really believe that Donovan was riding Parks a little bit high when he went down to cover him for the pinfall. Parks was able to spin right out of it, and like we said before, unless you have Reggie Parks right down, have him tied up solid, you're not going to get nothing on this man. Sort of a variation of a side headlock now, and it looks to me like he's getting some extra leverage, and he was. The referee caught him. I think he found out that he can't go out and out wrestle, and I think Reggie Parks, so he's going to what he thinks he does best, and that's, as we see there, shot to the eyes and using that fist.
Donovan trying to take those shortcuts now goes into a double rear chin lock on Reggie Parks. And the crowd picking up a chant right now, go Reggie, go. Reggie Parks, obviously the favorite here to a crowd here at the Sportatorium. Donovan, one to the midsection, one back of the ear that time that rocks him. And Parks, equal to the task, retaliates and has Donovan doubled up, then straightens him out. Got him on the side of the jaw and has Donovan in trouble. And the tide of this battle is turning indeed as Reggie Parks now has it going his way. Donovan in trouble on the canvas. Parks closes in. Parks moves at him very quickly. High, hip toss. It has Donovan backing away, and Donovan stalling for time now, and Parks closing right in on him. And that's one thing you've got to do, Jerry, is continue after your opponent.
Well, that's what we're talking about, the killer instinct there. And Parks was right after him, Gordon. He let up just for a second there. Now, this is a move that I haven't seen before myself, and it's been successful for him, and it works for him again, Gordon.
It's sort of a variation of the neckbreaker and backslide, and that's the second time that this young chick, Donovan, has taken variations of holds and used them very effectively. Your victor in Wrestling Superstars, Chick Donovan. It is interesting to note, Jerry, in this last match between Donovan and Reggie Parks, Donovan apparently is using a lot of variations of what you'd consider to be somewhat standard holds, variating them just enough to score very effectively.
Well, Donovan's been impressive, Gordon, in the matches we've seen him in. He's able to take 2 or 3 moves and adapt them to his style and to his ability, and that's the important thing in our sport, Gordon. You see a move out there that you like very much, but you tried it, don't always work for you, but you can manipulate that move and mold it and fit it into your style and make it work for you. And where you can't say take a move and do it per se and hope it comes out right. You've got to take something and fit it and mold it towards yourself.
And that's exactly what Chick Donovan, the Golden Boy, apparently is doing. Right now we're set for our match. Let's turn it over to our ring announcer.
This match, 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Formerly of Havana, Cuba, now making his home in Portland, Oregon, weighing 240 pounds, David Sierra. His partner from the Isle of Samoa, weighing 228 pounds, Coco Samoa. Their opponents from St. Petersburg, Florida, weighing 234 pounds, Buzz Sawyer. And from Beverly Hills, California, weighing 226 pounds, the Florida television champion, Fast Eddie Mansfield.
Tag team match. Eddie Mansfield and Buzz Sawyer. The eyes of our camera at this particular point. Mansfield, of course, the Florida TV champion. Sawyer, the man with a $5,000 challenge to anybody who can pin him within 10 minutes of the match. Calling for the bell now. And it is Sierra substituting for El Grande Apollo, as we had initially announced. And it's Coco Samoa moving up against Buzz Sawyer right now. Back into the turnbuckle. Sawyer using the forearm very effectively twice, and a third time to the side of the head of Coco Samoa. Samoa leapfrogs up and over his man, up on the second row. Beautiful cross body block by Samoa. It's all over. 1, 2. No, sir. And Sawyer, a 2 count, and it was almost all over before it got started, Jerry.
Boy, this Coco Samoa, as we mentioned several times, Gordon, this man is lightning quick, and Buzz Sawyer, he didn't know what hit him when he came off of those ropes, Coco Samoa, and Buzz did what he does the best, and that's slide out of the ring.
Collar and elbow once again. Coco Samoa and Dave Sierra against Eddie Mansfield and Buzz Sawyer. Samoa now with a side headlock on Sawyer, and that has to be, even though he didn't get the pinfall, that has to be a real boost to your morale when you're out there battling against somebody, to know that you're that close so early on in the match. And Samoa has got that adrenaline going now. That had to be a real shot in the arm for him, Jerry.
Well, you said it. You hit it right on the head, Gordon. That picked him up. It's got Coco Samoa really flowing now. Buzz Sawyer reaching back, trying to get a little leverage there with the tights. But Coco Samoa's in full control of Buzz Sawyer at this time. He's got that headlock clamped down, reaches over, tags in David Sierra, and what a combination Coco Samoa and David Sierra.
Exactly, and it's Sierra now with a side headlock on Buzz Sawyer. Sawyer, well served as he tagged up that time. He's facing a fresh man. Why not give him a fresh man? And that's exactly what he did. Tagged up with Eddie Mansfield, and so Fast Eddie calls himself the Continental Lover. Moves out there, and Sierra rolls away from it.
Buzz Sawyer and Eddie Mansfield, Gordon, as a tag team, I feel you're going to have to really bear watching them. And these two men can go a long ways. The only thing that I can look at and see that might interfere with their success is a tremendous ego. Both of these men have a great, great ego. And sometimes when you're in a tag team situation, egos have no place in the ring.
Precisely. You've got to operate as a unit. And ego does not have much place in it, that's for sure. Coming off the ropes, Mansfield was trying to set that right hand, but it was Sierra one step ahead of him and one step ahead again, and Mansfield frustrated. Caught again in a side headlock. So David Sierra moving well, and here's the man who attained quite a reputation when he first came to Florida. When he battled several times against former world heavyweight champion Dory Funk Jr. and his Buzz Sawyer making the tag. Uncorking right hands. Shoulders very effectively. Went down, but Sierra slipped away from it. And Buzz Sawyer's got his problem, Sierra, very quickly into a lateral press.
David Sierra using his head there, Gordon. He saw the Buzz Sawyer had missed that. He was sort of down himself. He ran right over and covered Buzz Sawyer, tried to cop the ball, but Buzz was able to work up enough adrenaline to kick him off.
Mansfield makes the tag, and before that count of 4, 3 cheap shots at David Sierra has Sierra in trouble. Mansfield confident now. Uncorks that right hand once again, and so Fast Eddie. A headbutt to the midsection, but he tags up very quickly with Buzz Sawyer. Full slam by Sawyer. Sawyer off those ropes. Sierra rolls away. Sierra makes the tag with Coco Samoa.
Sawyer should forget about that move today as he put Coco Samoa in full advantage of him. And Coco, those lightning quick hands comes off court, and he chops Buzz Sawyer right off his feet.
Sawyer in trouble now as Samoa in with a lateral press, but Sawyer powers out before the count of 3. Sir. Coco Samoa. No, sir. Wow. Sawyer was ready for him that time. And Mansfield makes the tag, crashes down on Coco Samoa. And that's one time when Sawyer's mind was lightning sharp. He saw what was happening to him very quickly, to his own advantage, and Coco Samoa, stunned by that, very quickly Mansfield came out and scored the pinfall. The victory goes to Sawyer and Mansfield.
This is reality, really. This is it. It's come down to the final ball game, you understand? The final contest. You don't have to stand up here and scream about it. But it's all gotten too heavy until the point we're locked into a cage, baby. You can't get out of there until you're beaten or until you beat somebody, baby. Your freedom has been taken away. You understand? No disqualification. Locked inside a cage. Loser must leave. You understand? It's come down to a serious business. It's no more fun and games, hunt and hunted, baby. It's just attack, tear, rip flesh. And that's what we're going to do, Assassin, because I know you're coming in there with something to load your hood, something to hit me with, anything you can get away with, because you can get away with everything in this match. Well, brother, when you do everything you can, and it all comes too heavy, baby, I've got the answer right here, you understand? The answer for you, the answer for your hood, your answer for your loaded hood, the answer for you leaving the state of Florida. And like you say, sweetheart, West Palm Beach, I'm gonna take you out.
We're going to find out this coming Monday night. Meanwhile, the Assassin, Fast Eddie Mansfield, and Hangman Bobby Jaggers had some comments that bear listening to.
This hairless goof, Bugsy McGraw, has been running all over the state of Florida, especially in West Palm Beach, with a silly-looking little box saying that he has the answer to the demise of the Assassin. The answer could be staring this bald-headed goof right in the face, and he wouldn't have sense enough to take advantage of it. But the simple truth of the matter is, there is no answer as far as Bugsy McGraw is concerned. There is no answer to the dilemma that he is in now. A steel cage, no time limit, no disqualification, and the loser of the match is gone, brother, and I mean gone. And it's not going to be me, because there isn't a man alive tough enough to run me out of anywhere.
You know something? Buzz Sawyer and myself and Eddie Mansfield are going in the ring against a stacked deck. 2 ex-world champions, heavyweight, and 1 ex-junior heavyweight world champion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be looking at the X's, and you're going to be staring at the future. Dusty Rhodes, Jack Briscoe, and Jerry Briscoe come to West Palm loaded for bear, Daddy.
Jerry Briscoe, Jack Briscoe, and Dusty Rhodes have joined me, and they've heard those comments. Gentlemen?
Gordon, you talk about company. Right here, Dusty Rhodes, world champion. Right here, Jack Briscoe, world champion. I hear Jaggers talking about future. Well, brother, your future is going to end in West Palm Beach when you step into the ring against us 3.
You know, Gordon, it's not just that you got the greatest array of wrestling talent in the world. You got a little something deep in that, Jaggers. You infest Eddie Mansfield better understand that down home there is a big river that runs between Oklahoma and Texas. And every once in a while, once a year, me and the Briscoe boys will get down there and just fight right in the middle of that river and get that red mud all over. That's the Red River. And we'd fight and we'd get so muddy and beat up, and then we go get about 9 cases of beer and get just drunk. Because we bad down there. And they nicknamed us the Red River Rats. And now we all 3 together. And as you can see, Jack ain't just standing there like a wooden Indian. He's quicker and faster than lightning. You understand? He can get it done. And this old cowboy, we're going to take home in West Palm Beach.
We're going to find out this coming Monday night at the West Palm Beach Auditorium. Special handicap match, Bugsy McGraw going up against Steve Seibert and Mike Bond. And Jerry, in the years that you've been in professional wrestling, a handicap match to me has always been an extremely ambitious but very dangerous undertaking.
Oh, you hit it right there, Gordon. It is ambitious, but as you say, Gordon, you know, in football, wrestling, sometimes you line up and you have 3 or 4 guys around you. They're just trading in and out on you all the time. So, you know, you're used to, that's how you train. You train with 2 or 3 people, and they keep coming at you. So this to Bugsy McGraw, with his size and his speed and his knowledge of wrestling, he's going to have a tough time in there. But also, as I said, with all that going for him, Bugsy should be able to capture a fall on at least one of these men, but I believe he has to beat both of them.
I'm not sure exactly the rules of the handicap match. Obviously, if he can beat one, I think he would win, but he's facing 2 men that I'm not so sure. You take a look at Mike Bond, as big and powerful as he is, and Steve Seibert, with the tremendous experience that he has. Bugsy may have just bitten off a pretty big chunk here. Let's turn it to our ring announcer, please.
This next match, 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Indiana, weighing at 307 pounds, Mr. USA, Bugsy McGraw. His opponent from St. Joe, Missouri, weighing 265 pounds, Steve Seibert. And from Paradise, California, weighing 245 pounds, Mike Bond.
Bugsy McGraw loosening up in the ring, and of course a bit of psychological warfare here as he had Mike Bond, Mr. Popularity, somewhat distressed there too. And Bond now in the red, white, and green trunks circling along with Bugsy. And Bond facing a new element here, and he is somewhat confused. Bugsy McGraw has been perpetual motion since he hit the ring. Bond moves out once again, and this steps out of anything that I think Bond has ever seen before. They finally meet collar and elbow in the center of the ring, and McGraw just flatly outpowers him. Now, he's outpowering a fellow who stands about 6'2", weighs in the vicinity of 235 to 245 pounds, and you don't just flick one of those off your shoulder, Jerry.
Well, you don't, but as Bugsy McGraw flicked him off, they had a close-up of him. You can see just the development of Bugsy McGraw's shoulders and chest there. And as we've mentioned several times before, Bugsy McGraw is a man in expert condition. He doesn't let any phase of conditioning slip away. You see him double teaming up on Bugsy right now.
And Bond now beginning to retaliate rather well. Seibert out there, and they're getting in some cheap shots on Bugsy McGraw. A series to the midsection, obviously trying to take away the wind. And when they take away the wind and the oxygen, and they're double teaming him, and listen to that crowd. That crowd shouting USA, USA. And Bugsy McGraw heeding the word of the crowd as they chant for him. And that has to get that adrenaline flowing, and Bugsy McGraw has it flowing right now. Bugsy closing in on Bond. McGraw in a lot of trouble out there, but now retaliating very swiftly and very surely.
Gordon, this turned into a street fight. He's taking on two at one time. You know, the rules state you got to wrestle 1 minute, one time on a handicap match. Both of these men tried Bugsy McGraw. They got the short end of the stick with Bugsy McGraw, and Bugsy now that big 300-pound body coming right over Mike Bond.
He's got him down to the pin, and so the victor. In the crowd, it was Mr. USA, Bugsy McGraw, the victor.
Next week on Wrestling Superstars, we'll have the Japanese tag team of Masafuchi and Mr. Onita, which should be a team to bear watching.
It will be indeed. We hope all of you will join us at that time. Speaking on behalf of Barbara Clary and Jerry Briscoe, this will be Gordon Soley saying so long for Wrestling Superstars.